Hello, everyone. It is Rory here, the Eurovision site, Eurovision with a slice of life. We are here with Molly here. How are you
Hello.
doing?
I am doing good today. I have had fun with Dora and Dora the Explorer or Dora in Croatia. Where has she gone? She's in Croatia.
Well, why
But
not? There's worse places for her to be honest. So like it
exactly.
makes sense. But yes, so as you can tell from the title of this video and from Molly's introduction here, we are going to be chatting about Dora 2026, the Croatian national selection. It is finally over, and we have our winner. It's Lelek with Andromeda. In this video, we are going to talk through what we think about the songs this year, what we thought about the show, and whether or not Croatia has an opportunity to win Eurovision again. This could be a possibility. So let's just get straight into it. So yeah, so I think just to kind of get started, obviously we need to kind of go through the main kind of like run through of the entire show. There were 24 songs that were taking part in the total contest, 12 in each show. And then obviously eight of those then went into the grand final, and then the grand final was obviously determined 50-50, with 50% coming from the public, another 50 coming from the jury, which itself was split into regional and also international juries as well. And Lelek came out on top. So I guess just to kind of get started, like, what was your sort of initial impression out of the songs that you've listened to? What did you think of the show? How was it for you?
There were some that like really sounded well recorded and like on Spotify, and then I heard the live and I was like, oh gosh, vocals. Mantra being one of them, she sounded quite quiet, like a little quiet, and sometimes a little like, and she seemed quite nervous, and then the like with I think Tamara's was it Tama is the song? I can't
Oh yeah,
remember.
Tama, yeah.
Yeah, that song was I don't think it was as noticeable, but there
Hmm.
were some vocal issues I found with that one. But again, that one wasn't as glaring as Mantra, and I think it's interesting because I think that as a song sort of kind of needed that vocal thing, like that confidence that just wasn't really there. Lelek okay. If I say Leleka, I do apologize. I've started confusing
We
them.
now have the problem of Lelek and Leleka now, so we've just like
This
within the
is what
context of this video, it's Lelek, okay?
Lelek. There we go. So sorry, Tatiana, don't come after me. Lelek um is really it's a really good, like interesting song. I think they came like last year as well. And I really liked their song last year as well, so I'm really glad that they've kind of come back with this sort of darker kind of basically we're gonna summon a win, and they did. They like conjured a win, I guess, from the Dark Demons.
Yeah, yeah, and
But it
I
was a
think
good song. I really enjoyed it, and the staging was really good. I'm really excited to see how they're going to transfer everything over to Eurovision.
yeah, definitely. Because essentially, so for people who may not necessarily understand the context of the song, Andromeda is kind of harks back to when basically a lot of women who were having to escape slavery in the sort of Herzegovina region, they used to have tattoos tattooed onto them. And that's part of the reason why there's so much sort of spiritual stylings of and the sort of the imagery and that kind of thing. So it's very, very interesting to have that then kind of play into a song that's obviously for Croatia, with a sort of history from the land. It's very interesting to see, and also the fact that it's co-written by Zoria as well, who has tried to go to Eurovision, obviously for Serbia a couple of times. It's quite a nice mix of of history and that kind of thing, and um, yeah, I mean, for me, like the song was immediately like one of the standout songs
Mm, yeah,
of
definitely.
Dora. Anyway, I mean, obviously my partner is Croatian, so me and him, we as soon as the songs came out, we just immediately listened to all of them, and that was like the one that we immediately listened to on the first time, and
Mm,
we were like, wow, okay, this is going to be like a big fan favorite, and lo and behold, it was.
yeah.
Um, But I think, there's a lot of good stuff in this performance. They sounded the best out of the night. I
Mm,
know obviously there was a lot of kind of complaints around sort of the acoustics of the studio that they were in,
yeah.
and all of that thing. But I think it came out very well. I think for Adora staging, I think that was a good staging. I now
Yeah.
need them to kind of open themselves up a little bit more. I need them to
Yeah.
be a little bit more refined. And like they have 3 months now until we get to Eurovision. So like they have a lot of options to do that, which is very good. But the show itself was very good. We watched it at the time of recording. I've just come back from Supernova with my partner, who is obviously Croatian. So we were basically just chilling on that night. We just got a pizza and we just sort of ranked all of the songs as we were doing them. Lelek topped our charts out of a possible 60. I got 51 that we put in. And yeah, it was kind of obvious that Lelek was going to win, I think, for us. But there were some very good other good songs in there too. We really much enjoyed some of the songs that like we'll obviously get into that in a second. But um overall, like HRT knows how to do a good like
Mm,
modern style Dora now, which is very good. It's just they really do need to work on the fact that there is now an expectation that in Dora there's going to be rather poor vocals. I think that
yeah.
is kind of a bad problem there, but that's a problem for HRT. That is not a problem for the artist.
Yeah,
So.
I personally think HRT need to sort out a couple of things. One is the vocals. Two are those bloody camera angles because when I watch some performances, the camera angles will be like turning to a wall or like super zoomed out. I want to see the artist. I don't want to see the crowd. I think they do need to I think the staging is good. They have the staging down, and I think they really know how to use it. They just need to get those technical elements sorted and that camera angles and sort of the acoustics or like the sound really needs a good sort of tweaking
Yeah,
um kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, I see that. I think in general they wanted to try and make the place look as big as possible
Yeah.
because usually it was held in Opatia, which is basically like it's next to the sea. It's very much like that. Whereas this year it was being held in Zagreb, so obviously like
Yeah.
it's a different show. It's a different
Mm.
studio in a way. So like they needed to kind of hype it up a little bit. So let's just start then. Let's just go on to the like who did we like in the show? What were some of your favorites that you liked listening to? And were there any that kind of surprised you?
I think I really liked Tama. That one was always a favorite, and I think it was really good as well with the staging. It's good that the only thing I could say is like the vocal stuff, but even like the vocal stuff was not really noticeable unless like you really pay attention to it. And I am very annoying to the fact that I pay cl very close attention to vocals. Um, that and staging I pay annoyingly close attention to. So, but I think like as a package it really worked well. And if it won, it could have been like easily shushed together and done really well. I like Lelek's performance. That one was really nice. I love the witchy kind of like cultish vibes and the meaning behind the song as well, like you stated, was really put across in the staging and everything. It all comes together. No one when it comes to groups, there's a big issue sometimes that you can get in national finals where one member will outshine another, and then another one the thingy, and then the other one. You didn't get that as much here. It very felt much like a darker version of Tautomatus, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's kind of the vibes I kind of get out of this one. So I really enjoyed this performance as much, and I think it's a very much deserved winner in in a lot of things. I think the selection of songs this year in Dora, I'm gonna sound controversial, is not as good as last year, but I think there's a lot more of I would argue there's also much more of like a diverse group of songs in this one. So it's kind of pick what you prefer. There's a more like mix of genres in this one, whereas last time it was a lot more pop heavy, which I tend to enjoy the pop heavy stuff. So I'm quite biased. But this year was quite interesting in its mix. We had a lot more like rock stuff in this, which I think was very much influenced by the style of Marco Bosniak in last year. Speaking of, I need to mention that opening. So good. That was so good. I watched the opening of Dora, and I think that the remix, how they remixed everything, like the old songs, and then Marco really came through with like this sort of like acoustic. Is it acoustic? Like more.
Yeah, like a stripped
Mm,
back version of
yeah,
Poison Cake. Yeah.
which I think I much prefer to the original version, which could be quite controversial, I'd say, but I wish they'd said something like that for Marco personally. And I really loved seeing how he was able to show off is it his? Yes, his
Yeah.
vocals in that interval. I thought I'd mention that as well because I know that interval was like a big part at the beginning, and
Hmm, hmm.
I think Marco definitely suits more of the ballad kind of like style personally from what we've seen in his previous work. Um, but yeah, the show as a whole, love it. I think the selection of songs was very good. Um, and a lot more. I do love like a more diverse lineup when it comes to songs because it means there's something for everybody. Like, some national finals are not very good with having like some genres like rock in there, or they'd have a lack of certain things. So I'm glad that we're slowly getting that in some national finals as well. Okay, that was me yapping.
No, no, it's fine. It's very interesting. It's interesting you bring that up actually about rock because me and my partner we had a very kind of like a revelation about Dora and the fact that in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, rock has been kind of like the people's favorite. So
Yeah.
Let 3 was a big favorite. Baby Lasagna
Mm,
had rock motifs within it in 2024. Again last year, who obviously finished second behind Marco Bosniak, they were also
yeah.
quite rocky. And then with the exception of Lelek, obviously, like Lelek obviously was the favorite, but like second favorite obviously then was Cold Snap, which was
Yeah.
also very rocky. Um, I think Croatia really does like rock. I think that is kind of their new
Yeah.
and upcoming thing at the minute. There are reasons for that that are probably not best for this video, but I would just like to say that, we are not fans of Thompson on this website here. Um, but yes, so basically, I think there is an inclination. I think that within the next couple of years, Croatia will send something rocky anyway, which is very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like a lot of the songs that we had this year. I think,
Mm,
is quite diverse. Not even just within the final, within the semifinals. Obviously, we had like Fengster
yeah.
coming back. Like Fengster was really good. Obviously, I think the big shock was Zevin because Zevin was like quite far and away. Like it was one of
Mm.
my favorite, most listened to songs of this entire season. And then that live performance happened, and we pretend we do not see it. Um,
Uh,
so
yes.
yes, it was. I understand what they were trying to go with it, but then it just harks back to Shireen, like Someone We Ba back in Belgium 2023. And I think that was just not a good sign. So yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but like there were some songs that I did really enjoy in this. Obviously, I'm talking Dora. Like obviously, okay, subtracting the fact that the vocals were not great, the song was actually quite good, and it is still
Mm.
very easy to listen to on a daily basis. So that was very good. Memento Mori by Fengster, love that song. One by
Mm.
Tony Sky, very good. My Mind by Zevin, very, very good. And also Raqueta by Limalen. Now, I know that that is a very controversial pick, sort of within an international fandom, but within the domestic thing, it's quite possibly the big breakout song of the
Yeah.
entire Dora selection. So, um, I see good things for Lee Malone. I hope he comes back at some point.
Mm.
I did like Lana Mandaric as well, which was obviously Tama too, but I preferred her song back in 2024.
Yeah.
And it was good. Overall, I think the show, it was paced very well. They got through all of the songs very quickly as usual. Um, I was rather lukewarm on Marco Bosniak as per usual. I mean, like you can
Mm.
either take him or you can leave him. But I can imagine that you probably must have been absolutely thrilled when Magazine came on. for the interval act, and they obviously sang ah
Yeah.
because there's a bit of an inside joke within TES HQ that Molly is obsessed with that song.
I loved that song last year. It was one of my favorites. I absolutely adored them, and it's definitely sort of showed the growth of like the rock stuff. I feel I would really love to see Croatia be the one to really bring sort of like this rock genre sort of back to Eurovision. Whether, well, not in a way where it's like, oh, they come back and they win with a rock thing. Who
Yeah.
knows? But I mean, in the sense that they like be able to sort of bring that genre kind of back because we've been missing that in the past
Mm.
few editions, and I think having a country be able to sort of bring that within it always starts within a national final, and then it tends to always grow to a Eurovision level, and then other countries will come in and adopt that and all that lot.
Yeah.
We saw that with Cha 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 as well. After that point, a lot of countries kind of it ricocheted.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm hoping that in the future we will eventually, maybe Croatia will start that. They kind of did with Ring Ting Taggy Dim. There we
There
go.
you go. Well done. You got it.
Eh, they kind of did with that one, but it's going to be interesting to see how it progresses. And I think Leleka is a really good start to that. I'm
Yeah.
really, I'm really trying to the words.
Yeah. The words are there. They're doing the best that they
Yes,
can, you know.
they're doing the work.
The words are wording, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think there will be some rock that will come in next year,
Mm,
definitely. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Dora will sort of shape up in the coming years because it's
mm,
like domestically it was quite a mixed bag. I think a lot of people said there wasn't a standout song
yeah.
other than Lelek. So I think they kind of there's a bit of a hunger to have this kind of like song that's just
Mm,
like a huge diverse thing that there's going to be a lot of stuff that kind of reaches into the charts, and they definitely will be. I think it's just and not every year of Dora will be the best year. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
no.
So it's fine.
It's the same with any national final, to be honest. Like, not every year is going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing since sliced bread, yes.
Melfest every year, but you know,
Oh, well,
um,
apart from Melfest, we can't break a good Melfest.
sure, sure. Uh, yeah. Anyway,
Shade.
that's a story for another time. Yeah, I
We
think
need to
so.
wait for the Melfest reaction for that one, guys.
Can't wait. Stay tuned. Yeah. No, and then I guess just as a sort of final question, then I mean, we've got Andromeda now. We have them. They are officially going to Eurovision for Croatia. How do you think the song will fare? Obviously, now we're now still coming towards the end of national final season. Then we're going to end up going into pre-party season, and then we're going to end up getting into
Yeah.
Eurovision. So, how do you think it will fare kind of in that kind of lull, and do you think it will give Croatia a
I
good result?
if they have good staging, very well. I am not going to be too ambitious and think this is going to get them like top three or whatever. I'm expecting quite a decent result. If they do like really good with the staging and like really up it, then possibly you could get like top five, top thingy. But I'm thinking kind of top 10 kind of is quite decent. Top 10, 15 is quite decent for this song. And I think if it hit that point, I think many people will probably be happy with that. But of course, I think I don't like with songs to sort of just overhype, yeah, top 10, because we don't know what happens when it comes to Eurovision. I've said this plenty of times, and I usually like to say top 15 is probably the best sort of thing we can get for now because eventually we'll see the rehearsals and then it'll be like, ah, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'll be an interesting show. I think you are right in saying it's a little bit like Tautomatus, but like in a weird, strange, like darker sense,
Yeah,
obviously. So I think if they pull off a really good performance, I think the best we can hope for is roughly around the same sort of vibe as what Tautomatus got, and Tautomatus
yeah,
got 13th
yeah.
in Basel. So I'd imagine if it scores on the left-hand side of the scoreboard, I think that'll be a win for Croatia, especially
Yeah,
with
no,
this sort of
100%.
style of song because I think
Yeah.
there's this kind of nervousness, I think, to kind of show off that kind of level of
Yeah,
culture. But
I
it's
think with
good.
Croatia, I feel like they really need time to sort of build up to get to the point that they were like Ring Targeting was really a hit in, and I'm not saying like one hit wonder one thing, but it was really like a break in. It was something special, and I think you audiences need to understand that it's going to take time for Croatia to build a branding, a style, um a journey that's really going to then get them into that left-hand side and then eventually up to that top three. And I think that's what is expected of most countries. It's very rare that they hit like really well and then suddenly it's like one after another, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it's very much like a slow build up to then eventually, you know, people start liking the national finals and the artists and then bam, win. I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and I think as well, also Croatia has a bit of a checkered history as well with
Mm,
qualification because, for example, it took them from 2017 to then 2023 in order to qualify. I think this
yeah.
year they are more likely to qualify. I think it's just from what we're seeing already of this first semi-final, it's just going to be a very that's going to be the bloodbath, I think, out of everything because you've got
Yeah.
all of the upbeat songs that are in that
I
semi-final. So, I mean, in a
I
way,
think
that's good though.
if you
So.
the worst case scenario is that they put all the dark songs together. So you have like Montenegro, you have like kind of like the sort of fantasy of Ukraine as well, and then you have Croatia. If they're all put together, Croatia could be in a bit of trouble because you have very similar styles. They're very different from each other, yes, but they're very similar styles sort of that
Mm,
meld together. Um, and it's gonna the vote is gonna be so broken apart. So I think the best thing that they could have is just be away from those two.
yeah.
And also probably I think Albania as well. I think it would be best them not closely near Albania because Albania is quite dramatic. Um, as
Yeah.
well, but I don't think that would be as bad as being near the other two that I mentioned.
Yeah. As far as I remember, I think Ukraine and Albania are in the second semi-final and Croatia's in the first semi-final. So that's not bad. It does work in its favor, and specifically it also works in their favor in the fact that they're in the first half of the first
Yeah.
semi-final, and that's already filled with like big acts. For example, like
Yeah.
you have Greece in there, you have
Mm,
Moldova in there too as well. And obviously they're quite big hitting songs. So I think having something a little bit more balanced and a bit more
yeah.
like slow could actually work in its favor. So I'm looking forward to seeing
Yeah.
how that goes. So
I think it's definitely being near next to it's kind of something that helps sort of bring the not bring the energy down in a bad way, but sort of relax the energy. People focus on the more artistic, sort of meaningful side of things after you have those two. Because if you have multiple songs that are similar in like artistic thing, people are just gonna get right. I'm stop thinking. I'm tired.
yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
thing. Brain
exactly.
switch off. Give me a silly song. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think they'll get there. I think depending on what else is in the semi-final. I mean, we're recording this when, over half of the songs are
Yeah.
still yet to be picked, but from how it's shaping up, I think it's starting to go in their favor. We just need to, nothing is guaranteed, so we'll
We
see.
still have Sweden and Finland to find out about, and
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they're kind of
yeah,
stacking up. So yeah. Lovely. And just sort of any final points on Dora just before you sort of wrap things up?
I am excited to see our dark culty witches enter our thing. We got our first set of witch group, witch girlies. We had three witches last year, so it's gonna be very interesting to see a group of them this time in the Eurovision community. So that's gonna be good, and I am looking forward to see what they get to bring and what not just song wise, but also like community wise and like them as I think one thing that's interesting about Eurovision groups is watching them sort of interact with each other and then interact with other artists and then they all just kind of they're
Yeah,
like a
they
group of
melt
friends that are like
together.
going out to Eurovision. It's chill. So I'm excited to see all that.
It's going to be a great time. I can't wait to see how they're going to go.
Mm,
Because, I mean, witches need to have some fun too, It'll be
yeah.
a good time. So,
Witches need to have a break from the seance every now and then.
You know what I mean, guys. Come on. No, I think it'll be a good way to look ahead for it. But I think for Dora, I think it's a good show again, as per usual. Like I said, HRT just needs to sort of do those kind of little things that we were talking
Yeah.
about earlier. Just tweak the vocal like acoustics and stuff like that. Just make sure that that's on point so that the artist can actually sing properly. And I it's good that they're including the fans again because there was a very long time when like fans weren't included in the show.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. But
Mm,
yeah, I mean, it's all like they're building on things from last year, which is always a good sign. So you can always go up, which is very good.
yes. Up, up,
Love
up, 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 as Lorraine
as
says.
Lorene says, yes, of course. Lovely. Right. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. Do you agree with this, our points? Do you think that Lelek will do quite well when we get to Eurovision? How do you think they will fare? Please do let us know by commenting in the comment section down below. Thank you so much to Molly for joining me for this. It's been an absolute pleasure. And in the meantime, please do continue to follow us on all of our social media, all of them at that Euro site. Also, just keep following and subscribe and like and just do everything that you can, please, just to help us out as we will be hopefully getting to Vienna. So keep your fingers crossed, and we'll see you in the next one.